Okay, guys, welcome back. Today I got a couple of actual. I got one probation officer who was actually caught lying and a bail bondsman. The first one is a former federal probation officer pleads guilty to false statements regarding performances of supervisory duties. A former U.S. probation officer for the Southern District of Georgia admitted he lied about performing his supervisory duties. This 47-year-old, man, that's right at the prime, man. 47. He should have over the hill, or he should be just under actual his retirement. Wow. But you know what? He must have had a vice. He must have been a golfer. He must have been a gambler. He must have had a side, somebody entertaining, keeping him entertained. Because just to blow it off just like that, I mean, this actual position holds a lot of power. These are the ones that are going to send you back to prison. They're going to actually send you to a halfway house, send you into a rehab house, you know, anything that involves your downfall or your actual success, it falls under these guys. To tell the truth, it does fall under these guys just for the fact that they can they can give you extra time, they can give you extra, like for example, if you just get out and you're on parole, you know what I mean, not parole, but you're some kind of supervised release. You have to have a certain address that actually qualifies for all your that qualifies for you, And if you don't come up with the plan, he'll make a plan for you. Not only is he a probation officer, he's a social worker, he's a counselor. I mean, he holds a lot of hats. And for this guy just to be blowing off like that, I mean, I wonder why. You know what I mean? But according to this actual, I guess, pleaded guilty to one count of false statements as charged by an information. So he lied to actually basically lied to actual another federal agent. The charge carries a statutory maximum sentence of 5 years in prison, along with financial penalties and a period of supervised release. There's no parole in the actual federal system. The effectiveness of court-ordered services depends on rock-solid integrity for all employees, from all employees. So yeah, I mean, I mean, you're going up against an actual order of the court. So if you're not actually performing your duties, you know what I mean? While the dishonesty of one officer is troubling, it should not negatively reflect on the exceptional services of the other probation officers. That's true too. But I mean, this guy, I mean, he can violate you. I mean, if you sometimes if you're straight up honest with people with these actual officers, you can let them know, hey man, got a little bit excited this weekend. I did this, I did that, and you let them know the truth, man. They most willingly are able to help you out. I don't know how things have changed nowadays because I remember, in the '90s, when some of the actual, when some of the homies started coming out of the prison system, they would smoke bud and it wouldn't be no problem. I mean, the way they described it to me, that the state actual parole officers encourage them to actually smoke bud, so that way they stay out of trouble. You know what I mean? That's the way it was explained to me. I don't know if things have changed, but smoking bud was not a big deal on the state side. Was not a big deal when if you got paroled. You know what I mean? Uh, just the other hard stuff that they'll actually ding you on, even alcohol. And then we got another one here. This one's kind of you know it just makes you want to think. It makes you want to think, like exactly what people are actually thinking or not really thinking things through. So according to this actual sentence sentencing actual hearing, former bail bondsman from Bolivar County, sentenced to actually 121 months, it's over 10 years, in prison for illegal guns trafficking. Oxford, Mississippi. A former bail bondsman from Boyle, Mississippi, was sentenced to more than 10 years in actual federal prison for knowingly selling firearms to convicted felons. Oh no, he didn't. The 68-year-old convicted in June by a jury in Oxford, Mississippi. He took it to jury, took it to actual trial, uh, for knowingly selling multiple firearms to a convicted felon on two separate occasions. At least one of the firearms sold by this individual was stolen. Wow. Stealing in actual, dealing in stolen and stolen ones too. Um, wow, man, it just doesn't make sense. According to court documents and testimony presented at trial, law enforcement began investigating an increase in firearms-related violence in the Cleveland, Mississippi area in 2018. The FBI and ATF began working with local investigators to identify individuals responsible for shooting in the area to identify individuals supplying the shooters with the actual guns. See, this is when they've actually performed an actual good job here. And during the investigation, agents identified this individual as an individual who supplied firearms to felons. Upon identifying him as a potential source of illegal firearms, law enforcement utilized a confidential informant to conduct controlled purchases of firearms from this actual 68-year-old ex-bail bondsman. During the ensuing investigation, the confidential informant purchased a total of 10 firearms. Whoa. On two occasions in transactions that were recorded on video and audio. On each of the actual two occasions, the CI purchased guns from this actual ex-bail bondsman. The CI repeatedly told him that he was a convicted felon. Among the firearms he sold were multiple semi-automatic rifles that include 20 to 30 round clip magazines. There you go. A bumper stock, which is a device that can be attached to a firearm to cause it to fire in rapid successions, and several pistols. Wow. After the controlled buys, agents executed a federal search warrant at his home. During the search warrant, they found 379 firearms. They were found and examined, and approximately 50 firearms were seized. 50 of them were actually not, he had no actual record of actually going through the proper legal system, so they pulled actual 50 of them. That's not a lot. And two of the firearms were stolen, and another two firearms had their actual serial numbers that try to be rubbed off. You know what I mean? At the time of the illegal sales, he owned and operated a bail bondsman company. Wow, wow, there you go. So he was actually selling to the people he was bailing out. That's scary. That's scary. He actually was his customers was actually the people he was bailing out. Wow, what a scumbag, man. Wow, incredible. There you go, folks. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe.